What's going on, guys? This is Mars Brigade 99 coming to you once again with another session of Dark Souls PvP. Alright guys, we're back at it once again with part 2 of the Random Invasions video. Alright guys, now I know I said that I would include only Kirk invasions, but for the purposes of this commentary, I didn't really have that many random invasions left only featuring Kirk. So, I'll include my last few random invasions featuring him, in addition to a couple additional clips that will satisfy the rest of this video and commentary. Alright guys, so the last thing that we were talking about is conflicting values, right? And the issue that a lot of people have, right? Whether you are playing the game as it is presented, or whether you've achieved a certain level of skill, for lack of better words, or I'll just say experience maybe, and because you may have demonstrated a certain level of experience yourself, you may see certain things as being unnecessary, not only for your own gameplay style, but also as a standard of expectations for other people. Alright, so another thing that I want to talk about here is the issue of being an absolutist, right? Because I hear a lot of guys say, well, if you ever participate in a certain tactic, then that's what you are. I don't believe in that. 100% I don't believe in that. Like I've said plenty of times in the past, things are conditional, right? And they're relative to the situation that you may find yourself in at the time that you're doing it. Case in point, if I'm in a 1v1, right? And the thing about it is, you guys have seen me play on many of occasions. I have over 150 videos. Probably 10 of those are montages. So the vast majority of my vids are footage that includes at least 20 minutes of commentary, right? I've been uploading videos for almost a year, not quite a year, but I'm almost at a year. So in other words, I have countless demonstrations of my playstyle and my standard. Now, granted, I know a lot of the people who may be new to the channel may not be, aware of my views. Perhaps they may watch one or two vids and they automatically, draw some type of conclusion based upon a few things that they may not have liked that I have said. Okay, I understand that. But with regard to myself, right, when you are in a 1v1 situation, okay, I deal with it like a 1v1 situation. It's almost an ideal situation. On the other hand, when you are faced against 2 people, or 3 people for that matter, the situation is different. That's why they say drastic times calls for drastic measures. So in other words, when you're in a 2v1 or 3v1 situation, listen guys, it is not ideal. So will I use drastic means in an effort to kill either the hosts? Well, actually not either the hosts. Well, I mean, would I put forth drastic efforts to kill that host and his phantom? Of course I will. Because in other words, I'm not in this situation where I'm trying to hold true to certain standards or certain principles only because I just refuse to demonstrate a certain tactic. I don't think so. That's kind of ridiculous in my personal opinion. Because in other words, like I've said plenty of times in the past, when you're dealing with at least 2 people and you're not using a hornet, you're not using castings, the only thing that you have is basically your sword, your spear, your shield, your knife, maybe your bow. But that's it. You don't have anything else to supplement your attacks. So in other words, because you may, well actually not because you may, because in a lot of cases when I'm fighting 2v1s, You know, I do not have these things to offset my attacks, right? I don't have any one shot, one kill dark bead, right? Or I'm not using a crystal soul spear, or I'm not using a wrath of the gods. You know, basically, my method of engagement will include backstabs and parries, right? And I will include, you know, a few R1 or R2 attacks whenever I can. But for the most part, hey, it is what it is, guys. And I know a lot of you guys may say, oh, that's a backstab fish regardless of the situation. Well, guess what? If that's the standard that you guys have set, then I guess I'm just a backstab fisher. But in a 1v1 situation versus a 2v1 or 3v1 situation, the standard is 100% different. The funny thing about it is, I've had guys comment and they'll say, oh, look at you backstabbing fishing, you know, during a 2v or 3v1. And I'm like, okay, I mean, what other way can I kill them? I don't have a Wrath of Gods. I don't have a Pyromancy. I don't have Dark Bead. I don't have, you know, a Crystal Soul Spear. I don't have anything. So in other words, what do you expect me to do? R1 them to death? R2 them to death? No, I don't think so. That's not my tactic. My method of engagement is to employ them in every opportunity that they present themselves. And that's how you slowly become successful at engaging 2v1 and 3v1 situations. Now, because it is not ideal, will I chain if given an opportunity? I sure will. I'm dealing with more than one Phantom, assuming they both have at least 1700 vitality. You know, that's 3,400 vitality that I have to get rid of. In addition to the fact that they have, assumingly, 20 flasks. So in other words, not only am I dealing with 3,400 vitality, but I also have to deal with 20 flasks. So will I do whatever I can to try to, you know, get rid of those guys? I sure will. And I won't feel anything, any kind of shame with regard to doing it. Another thing, the funny thing about it is, I've said plenty of times, hey, listen, guys, I'll take your criticisms as long as you are being constructive and you demonstrate for yourself that you can get rid of 2v1s and 3v1s by only using R1s and R2 attacks. I have yet to have at least one person demonstrate that. Out of all the haters who will tell me that during 2v1 and 3v1s, all I do is backstab fish, I have yet to have one person upload as a video response, not just one situation where you're R1ing or R2ing somebody to death, but multiple situations where they're basically, just handling a 2v1 or 3v1 situation by never backstabbing. I have yet to see one. Flat out. So, listen, I make contributions to Dark Souls because I like the game. I try to make them constructive contributions by not only articulating my views, but also demonstrating the things that I say. So in other words, if I say that, hornet rings are unnecessary, I'll demonstrate that hornet rings are unnecessary. If I say that, this tactic is, you don't really need A tactic or B tactic to be successful, I will demonstrate it. I won't just sit back and rant and ramble without putting forth some type of visual demonstration that I believe what I say based upon my ability to do so. Right? So for some of you guys that are all into this, oh, you're a hypocrite because, you talk about BS fishers, but when you were in the forest and it was a 2v1, that's all you did. Okay, but that was an extreme case. We don't deal with outliers, right? We like to deal with ideal situations, which really are 1v1s. And I have plenty of uploads to demonstrate my potential for 1v1s. I deal with formal matches differently than I do random invasions. I deal with formal and random invasion situations differently than what I do 2v1 or 3v1. And if you guys are smart, you will do the same. It's the bottom line. You have to deal with each situation as they present themselves. Ideal situations, okay, I play a certain standard. Situations that are not ideal, hey, I go to the extreme with no hesitation, because like I said before, extreme situations will cause for extreme responses to those situations. So that's basically it with regard to conflicting values and the so-called issue of hypocrisy with regard to Dark Souls PvP. Alright, so I'd like to go ahead and give a formal thanks and show of appreciation to all my subs. I just recently reached the 5,000 subscriber mark. I'm very much appreciated for it. I couldn't have gone on for this long without you guys, so I really appreciate it. All the constructive criticisms and all the support that you guys have given me, and motivation and drive to continue on. So I'll be looking forward to Dark Souls 2 coming out, for which I'll be doing so much with regard to Dark Souls 2. So that's pretty much it. So alright guys, there'll be basically one last short match for the rest of this series. So until next time, Martyrs Brigade is